How's it going, everyone? Tonight I'm going to be doing some PC building, so hopefully that's something you're into and you're going to enjoy. Hello, Blue Boy. Hey, Silly Bean. Thank you for dropping in. Always so good to see you. Hey, Lydia. Thanks for the first redeem. You found it again. Very good. Hey, Lydia. So yeah, let's check it. Let's take a look at all the parts that I've actually got lined up here at the moment. So we've got the main part that I've got here is the new processor. This is an 11th gen processor. It's a Core i5. It should be a pretty good step up from the first generation Core i5 I think this family has. So this build is for a friend of a friend. It's not actually my family friend. Sorry, not actually my PC, but I'm gonna have fun in building it all the same. This is a nice processor to go with if you're getting kind of like a budget kind of build at the moment, because it's instead of 4 cores, it's six cores, which is a really nice bump up in performance. And it doesn't really break the bank, this one. This is probably about $250, this processor, Australian. So it's a pretty good fit. It's a pretty good fit for a medium build. And even for a budget gaming build, I would definitely recommend this processor. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, we've got some storage, some super fast storage here. We've got an NVMe 500 gigabyte SSD from Samsung. This one is a really nice little form factor because it's basically the size of a bubble gun stick. I'll hold it up to the camera when we open it up. But yeah, basically this just slots into the motherboard and doesn't take up much space in the case whatsoever. We got some RAM sticks here, 16 gigabytes of HyperX Fury DDR4. Comes in 2 sticks, so there's two 8 gig sticks here. This will be a really good start, and this motherboard has 4 RAM slots, so if they really want to upgrade from 16 gigabytes of RAM, they can do so in the future. And everything that it plugs into is going to be this Gigabyte AUS motherboard, Intel 11th gen compatible, and it's a gaming. It says it's a gaming motherboard, but like it's just that's just properly another word for a pretty good mid-range tier spec motherboard. The reason I chose this one is mainly for the inputs and outputs that it has. It has lots of good expandability, and it should keep them going as far as upgradability over the next few years as well. It's the latest generation as of now. 12th generation CPUs are going to be coming out maybe towards the end of the year, depending on the chip shortage or not. So yeah, now's the time to buy 11th gen if you can find it. There's so much shortage to do with chips and stuff like that at the moment. It's kind of bizarre. So Lydia, I know you are planning to build a PC in the not too far future. So hopefully, this is going to be a little bit of sneak peek of what you're going to be going through. So anybody, including Lydia, if you guys have any questions along the way, just let me know, and I'll try and answer them. Yeah. This is going to be fun. I really enjoy building PCs. We've also got, obviously, a case for everything to go in. It's over there at the moment. Not too much space on the work desk at the moment. We don't need it at the moment. Jimmy, you do have a question. No worries. Let's hear your question. I'll, Can I build you a PC? Mate, if you want to buy the parts, and yeah, not a problem. I reckon I could build you a PC. No worries, Silly Bean. Thank you so much again for the lurk. Definitely appreciate you dropping in, as always. Really appreciate it. And it was good fun seeing you play Star Wars today. For as little as you could. But yeah, no, it was good fun. I'm really glad you picked up on the strat of just leaving the stormtroopers to kill those two giant spiders. That was pretty funny. Jimmy, yeah. I mean, if you're serious about that, I will definitely. We can definitely organize something. Not a problem. Just let me know a budget, and we can work something out. But we might as well get started with the motherboard unboxing, hey? Let's get this is since everything we're going to plug into this plugs into this. We may as well start getting it out. Yeah, big brain strats. That's it. Why do all the work when the stormtroopers can do the work? All right, let's get this out of here. So this bag is an anti-static bag, pretty fancy. It's kind of got like metal embedded into it. Helps keep the components from frying out in transport and while they're being handled. I don't think we're gonna actually. I'm gonna see what else is actually in this box before we move it away. So usually it will come with some sort of manual and maybe a few accessories like SATA cables. Hopefully I won't forget them this time. If anybody saw my motherboard replacement, we got the motherboard replaced perfectly, and yeah, forgot to plug the hard drive back in. So whoop rip, but it doesn't matter. Easy fixed. We've got a few other things. This is a little SSD screw. Probably won't be able to see it on camera very well. Very small screw. We're going to definitely need that later for putting in the SSD. And we've got the SSD standoff for the motherboard as well. So yeah, good thing we're looking in the bottom of the case at the moment. We've also got the manual. Really handy if this is your first time building a PC. There'll be kind of pinouts and other guides for you to plug in things that like front panel connectors and things like that. Pretty self-explanatory once you know, but it's always good to have the manual just in case. All right, so good. Anybody that's seen my TikTok has probably seen me missing that SATA cable as well. All right. So usually I recommend, because most things plug into the motherboard, and sometimes depending on your case, you have limited room mucking around in your case. So what I usually recommend is plugging as many things as you can into the motherboard on the desk while you're putting it all together. That way, you've got full access to everything basically. So we'll get out the motherboard and have a look. Get the trusty knife out. Peel some of this tape away. How's everyone's day been anyway? Like, I've had a pretty good Wednesday, and yeah, I don't know, a little bit tired at the moment, but very keen to be building this PC anyway. Yeah. All right. Carefully take out the motherboard by its heatsink. There we go. Really like Gigabyte and their kind of, especially for gaming gear and stuff like that. Their Aorus line is pretty nice looking with the kind of the eagle logo and the blacked out kind of stealth look to them. If you've got a window on your PC, these are definitely going to look nice. And what I really like about this type of motherboard is it's actually got a built-in I/O shield. So this, instead of having a separate attachment, it's actually baked on. So you can see this family was definitely one of their requirements. They said they really wanted a lot of USB inputs. So this board, it's got plenty. It's got plenty. So we're not actually going with a graphics card in this build because honestly, who can afford them in this economy at the moment? They're ridiculously expensive. So we're going to be using the onboard graphics from the Core i5. It's going to be great for Windows. It's going to get them through doing all their daily tasks. And if they decide they want to add a graphics card later, this motherboard is going to be ready for it. So yeah, should be all good. Now I reckon, let's start by putting in that CPU so we can get that. That's probably the most delicate part. So we should get that probably out of the way straight away. Let's put some of this stuff over here. Okay. Let's get the CPU out. Now the CPU actually comes with a stock cooler for this version, which is really nice. Generally, if you're going to go with a gaming setup, I recommend probably investing in some sort of third-party cooler, that's something that's a little bit beefier, that's going to do a bit more cooling. But since the priority for this PC is just office work, I think the stock cooler is going to be fine. Saves a little bit on budget, and also can easily be upgraded later anyway. So yeah. All right. So you'll see in this package, we have a little case badge, one of the modern Core i5 stickers. We've got the processor itself, which is really quite small in the packaging. And then we've got the included box cooler, which I'll take out. I can get my fingers around some of this bloody cardboard. They're packed in tight. Nice. Now this is the first time I've actually seen one of these brand new coolers. They used to be blue and silver, but now they're just all blacked out. Yeah, just blacked out. We won't be putting any extra thermal paste on today. These coolers actually have pre-applied thermal paste on the bottom, so it's really handy. So you don't have to buy any thermal paste. You don't have to put a little P dot size when I did the motherboard replacement, like you probably saw last time. You can just simply press this down and it should be good to go. So yeah, we'll just be using that today. So that's good. I'll leave that there off to the side. And there we go. We've got the processor. Now, I'm not quite sure if anybody you all remember from last time. AMD chips are slightly different to Intel chips. I think I showed you the bottom of the the AMD chip last time. That had pins on the actual chip. Whereas this chip, I can hold it up in its casing. It has just pads, just flat gold trace pads. And it's the motherboard for Intel that actually has pins under this cover here. So we won't be opening the cover until we actually need to put the CPU down, which I'll be doing just in a second. So that's just a slight difference. Doesn't affect performance. It doesn't do anything in particular. It's just how the different manufacturers have decided to attempt the connection to the CPU. I actually prefer it this way for Intel, to have the pins not on the CPU, because pins make a part delicate. If you're going to damage something like the motherboard or the CPU in an accident, I personally would prefer that the motherboard be damaged and have to be replaced rather than the CPU, because generally the CPU is the more expensive part, especially if you're looking at gaming CPUs like up in the i7 and then i9 range. You'd rather not have your $900 processor just be dead because you bent a few pins. You'd rather your $200 motherboard just be dead and get that replaced. So yeah, that's my reasoning. So to start off with, we've got a cover on this, which we don't actually need to remove manually. That's going to pop off as part of the process. So there's a little retention arm on the side here. We're going to press that down, pull to the side, and lift it up. That's going to bring the cover up, and the whole cover is like a metal retention arm. And as you can see, there's some shiny pins just underneath there. It's hard to make out, but there's a grey arrow in this corner, and on the CPU itself, very, very small, there's a gold arrow in this corner. That's the way they line up. There's also two notches in the side of this CPU. It's still going to be very hard to see on camera. There's a notch here and a notch on the other side. That lines up with the two notches in the pin grid there. So, like I said, this is the most kind of sensitive part, if you like. This is the part where you have to be really careful that you don't bend these pins. You're just going to place the CPU down very, very gently. So I've got the CPU here. I'm going to align it properly and just let it rest down. No pressure. It should just slot into place, and that's all good to go. So now we can fold this down, making sure that the two prongs at the front come under this little retention bracket here. You're going to push forward, and this is the fun bit. That little plastic cover is going to pop off. Usually it doesn't get in the way, but it pops off all by itself, and then you slide the retention bracket underneath. And there we go. So we've got the CPU in place on the motherboard. That's all seated and ready to go. So that's, yeah, like I said, that's the most delicate part done. All right, I'm going to save the little, it's always important to save that little plastic bracket just in case there's anything ever wrong with your motherboard. The manufacturer really wants you to place that back on so they can confirm that, you know, it wasn't pin damage and stuff like that in the first place. That's why you're returning the board. They need that for transport on the way back. So definitely keep that in the box with your warranty. Any questions so far? I hope this is all making sense. We've got that stuff over there. All right. Might try and get the heatsink down. The plastic popping off, yeah, that's why I tell everyone it's just going to come off because the CPU kind of pushes through. The reason why I don't personally just take it off is because the CPU does just pop it out when you place it down. But it also means, like, if you're putting pressure on the thing just trying to pop this off before, there's a chance that your finger could slip in and underneath and just bend the pins. It's just not really worth it. So yeah, it's just a bit of fun to pop it off when you just place it down. All right, so we got these 4 arms on this bracket, on this CPU heatsink. Now these kind of pins, it's probably hard to see, but they have an internal black pin on the inside of those white pins. When you push down, it makes the white pin expand slightly, and that will hold it down. And these plastic kind of click and lock into place once the black pin has expanded down. So with these Intel heatsinks, it's just a matter of kind of lining up the holes, and instead of screwing down like we did with the AMD one last time, we're just going to push down in opposite corners until we hear clicks. A little bit disconcerting the first time you do this because you don't want to hear, you don't really think you want to hear clicks when you're pressing down on a motherboard, but in this instance, it's not too bad. And we're doing it on a soft surface like the motherboard box, so it's not going to be bending any of that under components on the board. So what we do is we grab opposite sides. I'll push down on one side, I'll push down on the other. We hear a click, perfect. And now we just do the same on the other sides. 1, 2. And they're all in place. Give it a bit of a wiggle. You shouldn't feel any movement whatsoever. It should be as sturdy as, sturdy as a rock. And then that's it. We've got the CPU heatsink on. like I said, the heat sinks for the Intel are pretty easy going. And then of course we've got the fan cord. Now there's usually a fan header on most motherboards called CPU fan or CPU one or something like that, and it's usually just above the motherboard, and I can see it right here. So you simply, there's only one way you can slip on this header because of the little bumps. You slip it on over the pins, and now that fan is connected and ready to go. Yeah, not too scary. It like I said, the first time getting it on, just feeling the fan kind of pop. You're like, oh, pressing down on like this most expensive CPU part. Like it doesn't feel right when you're doing it the first time, but you get used to it. That's it. All right, cool. CPU is installed completely. That's all you have to do with the CPUs. Now we can probably chuck in some RAM. Where's my kniffy? My knife? So how are you feeling? How are you feeling this so far, Lydia? Do you reckon this is something you would want to attempt? I guess you have to tell me at the when like it's all done. All right. So we've got some RAM sticks here, and we've got HyperX include our little nice badge logo if you want that. Ask you later. No worries. That's all right. All right. So we've got our RAM sticks here. And now these are DDR4. They're 8GB modules. And we've got two of them. So that's going to add up to 16GB when installed. I just started. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, so these go obviously into the motherboard as well. So we've got four. These are the RAM slots here. We've got 4 RAM slots, and they have little clip brackets. Now, most manufacturers are going to get you to install the chips spaced apart if you've got 2. So we're going to open the retention arms, retention bracket arms for both these chips. Now you'll see with these RAM modules, there's a little notch in the middle you'll be able to make out between the pins. It's okay to handle the RAM stick on the heat spreader and stuff like that, but you shouldn't be touching any of the pins while you're holding this stuff. That goes for most computer components. Never really touch the pins if you can avoid it. And we're going to put these in space apart because there's 2 RAM channels on a motherboard. So we've got channel 1, channel 2. So channel 1, channel 2. To get the most bandwidth to run a dual channel mode, you need to put a stick in each. So we'll do that. And there's a little notch, like I said, in the stick, and there's a notch in the actual motherboard itself. So when you line it up, you'll see that it either goes one way or the other. And I'm pretty sure from this angle, that's where it's going to go. Yep. So now that it's kind of slotted in just loosely, we can see that he's definitely going to line up. And now we push down on either side until the bracket clicks into place. It will automatically kind of just click in when you press down. So we're going to click, that side clicked in, that side clicked in, and you can see the two, hopefully you can see the 2 retention arms have kind of moved in compared to the other one. That's in place and that's ready to go. So we've got 8 gigs installed. We'll get the other one. We'll pop that in too. It will go the exact same way. If I can get it slotted in. There we go. Cool. And again, we'll push one side in until we hear a click. And press the other one side until we hear a click. And we'll just double check that both of those arms have definitely closed. And there we go. RAM is installed. It's pretty much that easy. So I'll put aside these other bits and pieces. I generally, for people that I build, I generally put everything into like all the little warranty slips, the case badges, and things like that. I generally put it into the motherboard box afterwards, so they've got all their bits and pieces, kind of easy to reach spot. All right, now we can install the storage. It's a big box for what actually how big this thing is. It's it's really not that big at all. Like I said, it's about the size of a piece of chewing gum. There we go. Pull that out. There you go. That's your 500 gigs of super fast solid state storage that we're going to put on this motherboard. And I'll show you where that goes. Probably actually have to take off. Yes, there is a cover on this one. Some boards have covers, some boards don't. This particular motherboard looks like it has a cover for the slot. So this slot along here, this is the M.2 slot. That's what the format of the hard drive is. We'll try and take off the cover. Now, pretty much the only screwdriver you're ever really going to need with most 99% of PC builds is just the Phillips head or just the star head screwdriver. That's pretty much all you're ever going to need. You might need it in a couple of different sizes. You might need a small one for the finer things, but generally just a mid-range size Phillips head is pretty good. So I'm going to take off, actually I might use the fine one for this one. I'm going to take off the cover, just a little screw there. And out it comes. I like the magnetic heads because you don't lose the screw. It's easy to get it out of the small hole. So I'm going to put that over there so we don't lose it. And now this cover, I believe, should just kind of come away. Yeah. Nice. Now this kind of acts as a little bit of a heatsink for the drive. It's got a little bit of plastic on it, so don't forget to remove that. And we will do that in a second. All right. So it looks like we've got a little standoff in there already. We might not need the one. That's probably an extra one for another slot. Or if you've got a smaller size, you'll be able to place the standoff in a different spot. So that's all good. And now then we'll get out the little SSD screw. Actually, I might not need this depending on where it goes. Let's do a test fit and we'll see. All right, so we'll get out this mini bitty little drive. This is what you find in most laptops these days as well. So it's made it over to the desktop form factor, but I love this. It means like it takes up, you can have so small little cases. And yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so to install this drive, it's keyed. There's like a little notch as well. So, and usually the logo is going to go face up. It is so tiny, that's true. Now you insert this at kind of a little bit of an angle to the side because it lays flat with the motherboard and it will just kind of rest in. And you'll notice that the actual slot has a little bit of kind of a spring to it. And that's why you can screw it down in place. Now I think the actual cover is going to, because where the standoff is, I'll try and lift it up. Where the actual standoff is, you can see that that's where the actual cover is screwed into. So I think it's all going to work as one kind of retention. So we'll try that first, and if not, we can put another screw in place. Because I don't think this screw has another. No, that wouldn't make sense. I don't think. Okay. Yep. So that's going to screw down there, and it kind of lie flat underneath this heatsink. So we'll peel off the protective heat pad. And we will slot that in and slot down. Yeah, it looks like that screw is going to go right through and be all good. So we'll get this screw. Now this is quite a short screw, and this one is a longer one. So we'll see how we go. We'll try this original one because it's black. But then if that doesn't work, we probably need to go the other size. Let's have a look. What's a little bit different? Yep, I think we're going to have to go with the other screw. I haven't used one of these covers before. I've seen them done on plenty of other channels that I watch tech videos on, so they're handy little things. NVMe drives can get quite hot on their own, so it's important. It is important to cool them. Pretty high speed components. All right, so what's that? Not going as flush as I would have thought it would do. Let's have a look. Let's take this out. You might have to take the heatsink out with it. Oh, okay. Now there's a little captive screw at the top. That makes a lot more sense. It looks like it's like a double screw mechanism. All right, I don't know if I've got a tool for that, to be honest. Let's have a look. And I just got through saying that you only need a screwdriver. Jacob, how's it going? Let's see if there's actually a little... That's interesting. The builds are going all right. We've got the CPU in, got the RAM in. We're just installing the little NVMe drive at the moment. 500 gigs of storage on a very, very little kind of stick that's just on the bottom here at the moment. And I've run into a little screw that I've never seen before, which is interesting. It's like a double stack of screw. And I'm just thinking out loud how I'm going to grab that. I mean, we can always move this to another slot. It's not a big drama, but that's so interesting. I might be right back. I'm just going to search my tool drawer to see if I've got something to tackle that. I'll be right back, everyone. See you soon. Hello? Steve just sus behind me. It's Steve! It's Steve! It's Steve! It's Steve! Blizzard.
Are you saying it is? Blizzard.
What?
No, I'm Blizzard. What are you talking about?
I'm super confused. Sorry, it looked like Steve. It looked like Steve.
We all look the same. Strawberry. How many birds are there?
I'm strawberry.
Is it Connor again?
We'll keep collecting some
Sprinkler.
things. This seems like a way to get him wet, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could do that. Maybe you steal something, or maybe I steal something, and you go turn the tap on when he comes comes near the sprinkler. We don't need another Coke, so I might pick one of these up. I'll be like, hey mate, I've got a carrot.
I'm stealing all your hard work.
Here he comes. Oh,
There you go, okay.
oh hang on.
So-
He made me drop it. I'm gonna grab another one.
Okay.
Cocker, who are you?
Gotta love that.
It's John.
Get back in.
John, guys.
John's Why did you want us to come out? Oh, the mine thing. Yeah.
Oh.
Now, guys.
Oh, cool.
Come out. Come out.
Blue. No.
Aerospace detected. Aerospace detected. Aerospace detected. Aerospace detected.
Parasite detected.
Yeah, so good.
No.
Oh wow.
Wow, that works so well. Putting it right at the door.
I told you to come out.
So now every
Defeat the enemy. He looks pretty
You've done
defeated
well
already.
in mastering the ways of
What's
your
going on?
younger-
Got him with the flamethrower.
Okay, so Copper.
But he got away.
Sapper, where'd you go? Sapper! Sapper!
My little things are getting taken out by the field. This is a safe field for them at the moment.
Get in there and make your mark.
I'm gonna try and shoot one of them. Cause confusion.
Where are all the votes? Steve, am I
They
reading this
leave
right?
the room.
But don't look at me, look at them. They're the ones who are supposed to push the buttons.
It's Copper, he's on the roof!
Fix this one.
I'm still new.
All right, let's clear debris.
Come on, let's go. I like having the button on my mouse way
hang on.
better now.
I don't know how this works. What happens if I press this button? Hey!
It's Puppy Cat! No. She got us good, man. Okay. After rifling around in my drawer, I have found a tool that will get that kind of secondary little screw off. So let's have a go. Yep. That's interesting. This is the first time I've run into this. So there's another little kind of, it's like a screw that has a screw hole in the top. That's fair enough, Lydia. Like I said, brand new motherboard. This is the first time I've run into this, a case scenario where they've added kind of an extra layer screw like that. That's bizarre, but I kind of understand if they've got a heatsink. Like I said, this is the first time I've been using a heatsink as well. But hey, we found the right tool. And by the way, if you didn't have this tool, you could probably easily got it off with a small piece of pliers. It is there are flat edges, and also there are other options. So there's another there's another M.2 slot down here which doesn't have that weird kind of heat sink. So that's interesting. All right, I'll have a go at placing this in now. Might just take it off the heatsink for now. There we go. And we'll place it in. We're gonna push it in. Should have that springy tension. Now we're gonna place this screw on. Which is gonna be interesting. I might put the other screw into it and screw it down first, then unscrew it, because I don't know how I'm going to get around it. Love this though. Like, this is, learning experience running into a brand new screw in a computer build. Gigabyte. There's no warning of this in your manual, by the way. I did just check. No worries, Jacob. Cheers. Thanks for the lurk. Yeah, Gigabyte. What the? There's no mention of this in your manuals, guys. That's it's a bit funny. All right. I put both screws together, so we'll be able to at least screw this down with the same tool. Oh, hiding in there. The thing with these little screws. Come on, John. Because the screw's so much longer than it was. I'll try and get it threaded in to start the screw in. Yeah. Okay. That's down. We've screwed in that bottom screw now. Now, hopefully I can just remove the top screw by pulling back, which it has. Jeez, what a double method. Cool. So that's looking more like it. Now we can put this heatsink on top. And that is super flush now. It's looking better. And now we should just be able to put this screw straight in on top. Boom. All right, we've got it in. We can all stop panicking. I wasn't panicking. Not at all. It makes sense, but I mean, include a tool that's gonna, you know, allow you to get to that, or at least having the manual that you got to be alerted to that tool. That's my thought behind that anyway. Cool. All right. That is pretty much all we can plug into the motherboard before putting it in the case. But that's looking pretty good. So we've got a hard drive installed under the heatsink there. We've got the CPU installed, we've got the heatsink fan in, we've got the RAM in. Now we can go grab the case. I will just go and grab the case and be right back. See you in a second.
Can you hear us, Steve? Cams? Let's check Cams and Steve, yeah? Let's do it. Go on, Cams.
Where is he?
No, see, it's very funny that earlier today when we were playing with quite a few less experienced players, and the power generator went off. Sober and I went to turn it back on, and there's an egg just around the corner of the door, and we're like, it's only John who could have set that trap.
All right. I've got the case. It's down here on the ground. I'll pick that up in a second. I've got a few other things that actually obviously needed for a computer build. You can't just chuck in a motherboard in a case and call it a day. So we've got some extra storage for this build. We've got a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. It's going to be good just for, you know, document storage, extra games, extra work, whatever you want to store on there. Anything that doesn't require a huge amount of speed, definitely good to chuck on there. They still wanted an optical drive in this build, which is a bit of a rarity these days, but managed to accommodate. No, just they're saying just in case they need to grab something off one of their old CDs, they'd rather have it than not have it. $19 to have it included, so whatever, chuck it in. So that's all good. We'll chuck that in the case, and of course the Paradol. We've got this beast. So we've got a Be Quiet 850 plus gold rated power supply, 650 watts. Now, to be honest, this is probably a little bit overkill for this build since we don't have a graphics card yet, but planning for a graphics card in the future and planning for extra storage, upgradability, and running your power supply efficiently, it's always better to buy more wattage than you think you're going to need. Mainly because if your system consumes 400, 500 watts, and you use by a 500 watt power supply, your power supply is going to be running hot at 100% the entire time, and it's going to be loud. One of the things that we really wanted for this kind of office PC is to be almost deadly silent. So we go with a power supply that can oversupply what the PC needs, and that way it's only going to be running at 50%, if that, and the fan's barely going to spin, and it's going to last hopefully forever. Bog Checker, how's it going? Yeah, power you up. Just going over kind of why I chose this power supply for this kind of office build. But yeah, look, like I think power supplies are like one of those underrated things that people don't really think about. It's like one of those things that they kind of last minute pick for their build. If your power supply is underpowering your system or is not the right rating, it can just really let down the longevity of your PC. So it's not worth cheaping out on a power supply, I reckon. Get something decent, get something that's going to last you. We've actually gone through, I don't know how long you've been here, Bokchika, but we've gone through installing the CPU, motherboard, and RAM onto the hard drive. Onto the motherboard, sorry. Onto the hard drive. So there we go. We've got the CPU in there, got the RAM installed, and we've got a little NVMe hard drive installed just under this little plate that's on the motherboard right here. Just arrived, no worries. Yeah, we've gone with NVMe storage for this build, just to be nice and fast. Future-proof this build a little bit for me. This is a friend of the family's build. There we go. Now this power supply, because it is also rated for a higher wattage, it's going to have probably a lot more cables than we actually need for this build. But that's okay. That's what the expandability of this build is for. And this is what's called, if you're not familiar, this is what's called a modular power supply. So only the cables we need are going to be installed. Yeah, NVMe storage. I just like for the price difference, there's no point not getting NVMe if you can get it these days. It's especially for your boot drive. You can go normal SATA SSD for game storage and things like that, but for your boot drive and your main programs, definitely worth getting an NVMe drive in there these days. Or even if you can splash out the cache, even a PCI Express 4 drive would be fantastic. It's got a standard manual in there, which we can put in the motherboard box for them to keep later. Now we've got all the cables that plug into the power supply. Like I said, there's a lot of cables in here. Probably not going to need them all, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Oh, hang on, wait, there's more. There's more. There's 2 lots of cables. Definitely not going to need them all. That's going to make our cable management nice and easy. Yeah. Here we go. Lots of recycling when it comes to PC building. This PC is mainly going to be used for some like really decent office work. So nothing too exciting, but they wanted their requirement is they wanted something that's going to last them the next 5 years. So we've got an 11th gen Core i5. 11400. It's a 6-core 12-thread processor. It's right in the mid-range of processors, and it's easy, pretty good for a budget gaming PC, I'd say. Like with the 6 threads, you've got a little bit of overhead to do some streaming, but mostly, you know, CPU-intensive gameplay. So it's one of those ones that have kind of, you know, if you're definitely looking to set up a budget PC, it's one of those CPUs that's not out there, it's not too out there, and it compares with some of the AMD pricing, so it's pretty good. Well, actually I might get some scissors. Probably right next to me. There we are. Cool. Tasty beads. Don't eat these. All right. So here's the power supply. Big beefy thing. So we've got the fan. This brings into the cool area and cools the components inside the power supply, all the capacitors. And we've got all the plugs that all the cables plug into along here. Power supplies are usually installed fan down. There's usually a fan spot on the bottom of the case so they can draw in air from underneath. And then it's exhausted out the back of the power supply through the fan grill here. Got the power connector, the external power connector, and the switch, which we'll leave for now. So what else comes in the box? Got some cable ties, which is nice. Nice to have some included cable ties for cable management. We've got the power supply screws, which actually screw into the case. That's mounted in the case. And then we've got your standard kettle lead kind of deal that yeah, plugs your PC into the wall. That's nice. That's where all those components come from. Now, like I said, we're going to have to decide what cables we're going to need. Tasty beads. They start off small, but they will expand very big in your stomach. Definitely do not recommend eating. All right, what have we got here? So looks like these, like most cables, have little abbreviations written on what they are. This says VGA, which is for the video card, so video graphics. Since we don't have a video card for this build, we can safely put these aside. They're going to be all good for a future graphics card expansion if they choose to go that direction. And it's another VGA 2 card. So depending on what graphics card you get, some of them can be quite power hungry. I know like the RTX 3090, if you could ever get your hands on one of those mythical cards, has I think 2 or 4 8 pin power connectors. But even then you'll need a beefier power supply than this to run a 3090. So yeah, this would be perfect for, you know, your mid-range RTX 2070 Supers or your or whatever the equivalent is in AMD. I'm not quite sure. All right, this cable, this is definitely one we're going to need. And this is the CPU power connector. It's an 8-pin. It can usually be split off into 2 4-pin connectors, or depending on the motherboard, it will just have one giant 8-pin. So this plug can, because it splits, it can kind of do both. So we're keeping that one. That's one we definitely need. We'll undo the other bundle. We've got an old floppy drive style connector adapter, just in case you wanted to connect a floppy drive up. Kind of nice they included that, I guess. It's a very edge case that you're going to need that, but all the same, kind of cool. All right, this big chunky cable is our motherboard power. This is the one that supplies all the power to extra CPU power, extra graphics card slot power, and any other accessories plugged into the PCI Express slots and things like that can be powered by this. Plus USB, front port USBs. This is where all that kind of power gets passed through as well. So very important. Definitely need that one. So we've got 2 cables. Now in this build, we do have another SATA-based hard drive, and we've obviously got a SATA-based optical drive. Now these are in 2 very different locations in the case. The SATA drive usually is going to rest in the basement of the PC. So depending on what your case layout is, you may be able to get away with 1 SATA cable, but I'm going to guess we're going to need 2 of these accessory SATA cables. Solid Oil, how's it going? Welcome in. it probably makes a little bit of difference, but if you check the manual, it should ask for the RAM slots in A2 and B2. That is very true. Like, that is very, very true. I was going to check that before we booted it up, so thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, usually when they're spaced apart, I like that. That's the way to go. But yeah, you are correctus. We will check that before we finish building. Thanks for jumping in. All right, I was just going through what kind of cables we're going to need for this build as well. So we've got one SATA accessory, and because the optical drive for this particular case, the client still wants an optical drive, it's going to be in the top of the case compared to the other SATA drive, which is in the bottom. We'll probably need the second accessory cable just so we don't have to, so the cable run itself won't really reach if we go both directions. So, and we got a third one just in case you ever needed more expansion. So we'll put those aside. Awesome. Good vitamins A2 and B2. That's it. Let's see what the motherboard manual says. I've run into quite a few motherboards that it really doesn't matter as long as they're in separate channels. But yeah, it can be a good rule of thumb just to check. Don't forget to RTFM. Does everyone know what that stands for? RTFM? Read the fucking manual. Where is it going to be? It's going to be in the front surely with all these pinout. Installing CPU. We've done that. That one's easy. Here we go. 2 modules. Yep. So it says DDR for A1, A2, B1, B2. So you can do it either way, but let's go with the case that it will be the other way. So I'll show you how to make sure. Viv, how's it going? Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, we're building it. This is a PC I'm building for a family friend. So it's not my new gaming rig or anything like that. But yeah, it's coming along well. We've just had Solid Oil come in and say that we might have our RAM sticks in the wrong location. Now, with this motherboard in particular, you can have it here, but if your motherboard does say to move them into the A2 and B2, it's simply just a matter of unclipping. We'll open the other clips and we'll pull them out and move them across. So some smaller motherboards, like ITX motherboards, they will have only 2 slots. So you're pretty much good to put in your 2 sticks just into the 2 slots that are available. They will already be dual channel just in 2 slot configuration. And click. And click. That's in place. And now we've got the optimal configuration for most motherboards as well. All good. I think you know why I think I put it the other way around. I'm not actually used to building the motherboard upside down this way. I'm not used to showing it to the camera. So usually it'd be the other way around, but anyway, that's that. All right. So we've got some other accessories there. We've got the power port for later for power testing. we've decided on what cords we're going to need. We've got the power supply ready. I'll show you the case. It's an interesting little micro ATX case. Hopefully, I don't know, I might have to tilt up the camera a little bit to this. All right. Okay, so this is a Cooler Master Silencio 400 series, I think. It's got a nice kind of solid cover up the top, which you can actually remove and place fans. It's got pretty much just a nice solid flat build look to it. The client requested an SD card reader, which I thought, okay, I'm going to have to either just get an adapter or something like that. This case actually has an SD card reader built in, which is quite unique. Haven't found that in too many cases around, so that's pretty cool. And on top of that, it's got a little door, and that's where the CD-ROM drive goes, which they also requested as just a backup, just in case kind of thing. So yeah, it's going well. Yeah, I really like this as like a little kind of office space case. It's very blacked out, streamlined. Pretty cool. So I might just move this down here for a second. We'll lay the case down. Now we'll start taking off some panels so we can actually get access to everything. Where did I put my screwdriver? Here we go. Another good feature I like about this case is it's got a basement. Some of the budget cases that you see on the market don't really have much area that you can place like all the cables, kind of the spare stuff. Whoa. These are hefty panels. There we go. Big solid panels. They've got internal foam for sound dampening as well. So that's another bonus of the Silencio series from Cooler Master. So we'll take that off. We'll leave that to the side for now. Now, this case has two kind of Cooler Master Silent Series fans pre-installed. So we've got one in the back. That's great for exhaust. That's blowing out. And we've actually got, I don't know if you can see it, but there's one in the front as well. That's taking in the air from the front, and that will take it into the little vent in the front of the door. So that's perfect. All right, we'll flip it around and we'll get the other side off. We'll probably need that to get down to the power supply. Move the camera in a little bit. Case actually features captive thumb screws, so when you unscrew it, they don't actually come off. That's a really nice feature. It's a really nice feature. That just slides out. Again, nice sound dampening foam on the inside. And here's where you can run some of your cables and install your power supply in the bottom. We've also got a bunch of accessories. Looks like hard drive sleds and screws and standoffs. And these are the front panel connectors. So this is what hooks up to your SD card reader, your front USBs, your front audio, and your power button and front LED. More tasty beads. Donate them. All right, what have we got here? Yeah, so we definitely got some hard drive sleds and plenty of accessories. Cool. I think we're going to need a couple of hard drive sleds. Looks like it's going to be screwless. So there's already some kind of pins that go into the notches of the hard drive either side. They'll rest either side of the hard drive, and then you'll just be able to slide them into the pre-existing rails that are in the bottom here. for your hard drive. So that will make hard drive installation pretty easy when we get to that stage. So we've got front panel connectors here, a whole heap of them. Looks like we've got, hey, that's really cool. They've got some inbuilt, they've got an inbuilt fan splitter. So I think there's already two fans already built into the case. They've got a 3-way fan splitter. So if you only have one fan header on your particular motherboard, which some motherboards are particularly stingy with headers, you can just use this inbuilt splitter and plug in another extra 2 fans. One of them's already plugged in from the front. So we'll definitely get that back fan plugged into this this splitter, and we'll see how that all works. That's all good. We've got front HD audio. So this is your audio pass through. Kind of average. Like I'd recommend if you can, obviously if you can, plugging into the back. That's where the most less interference is going to happen, but it's nice in a pinch. You've got your front USB 3 connector. So that will power both power and run data for both of your USB connectors at the front. We've got standard USB header. So I'm guessing that will be for the SD card because there's only USB 3 on the top. So SD cards run off just the standard USB header. And then we've got hard drive LED light. That will probably be the little light around the button. We've got a reset switch, which is there, but it's just indented a little bit, so it's harder to press. We've got a power switch, and then we've also got power LED as well. So very nice, pretty standard, but these will all go onto the motherboard at some stage. Yeah, that's right. So the onboard graphics is baked into the i5 CPU. We're just going to go with the onboard graphics because mainly this is going to be used for kind of office and internet browsing. So that's going to be more than enough for their needs for now, and they've also got the option to add a graphics card later when the graphics card prices come down in cost, because rip the graphics card market at the moment. Yeah. And it's interesting, like I was tempted to go AMD with this build, but their current lineup of APUs that have the graphics cards built into the CPUs on the Ryzen side, they're last generation at the moment. And they're kind of only four cores. So I mean, I don't know. I think going 6 cores and 12 threads and the Intel side, especially if they're only going to be using it for office works, is just going to be a good step up from the 4-thread AMD options at the moment. All right. I think let's get the graphics card in there. No, let's get the motherboard in. Let's just flip it around, and then we'll be able to route cables where we need to. I know, right? I have a build for your new PC, but yeah, you've got a parts list ready. That's cool. But yeah, just waiting for those cards to come back in stock, or even be worth the price at the moment is a little bit ridiculous. All right. So this is a mid-sized tower. It's a micro ATX format. So that means it's only going to fit micro ATX motherboards and ITX motherboards. It's not going to fit full-size ATX or extended ATX motherboards. So when you're choosing your case, make sure it's going to fit your motherboard. That's kind of important. But yeah, these definitely fit. So it's obviously good to go. Now, just looking, some motherboard, some cases need you to put down standoffs. These ones looks like they're all pre-built in, and they're all in the right places for micro ATX which is the motherboard that we have. So perfect. Sometimes there's different layouts for the little holes in the motherboard. So refer to your manual, RTFM, if you need to find out where to move the screws, because there's extra holes and these can often just come out and be moved. So all good. Otherwise, they're usually included in a little accessory baggie with the case as well. So it looks like we've got a whole heap of screws and things in here. So we've got some motherboard screws, which is really good. We've also got some extra cable ties. So I think we're going to need, how many screws? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 screws. So let's get this little baggie out. I haven't really given it a clip bag, so I'll have to cut this bag. And I might just go get a little cup or a container so I can sort these out. Just a second. All right. Got a bowl. This is a very weird cereal. Again, recommend don't eat this. And there's all sorts of different screws in here. So I'm pretty sure I always do a test fit with some of the screws to make sure you don't thread them. Pretty sure these are the ones that we need. No, that's slightly bigger. What's up with that? These are like, I think, or is these ones? Good source of iron. These are the weirdest screws that I've ever seen given with a PC. They look like they're little thumb screws for the motherboard rather than. I'm trying to hold up one. It's going to be very hard. That focuses. I don't know what any other computer people out there like. What's that? I mean, it fits the standoff screw, but it doesn't have the typical head that I'm used to. I mean, I've got plenty of different screws, and that's a flat head. Cool Master, what? Yeah, no, they expect me to use those. All right. Can certainly try that. Making sure they fit again. No, that might be too big for that. Cool Master, I'm so confused. No, I think it is just these so these are the ones that I'm expecting to fit. They've kind of got like the hex head, and they do seem like they fit, but they seem like they're a bit tight compared to the other ones. But they're not threading, so I think I will just go with these ones. But I'm like, I've never seen those. I don't understand what those screws are for. They might be actually they might be SSD screws. Because there's plenty of SSD mounts here. But again, not quite sure. Well, let's make sure there's 8 of these screws, and if there is, we should be good to go. This is the fun stuff you just run into while you're like building in a brand new case that you've never built in before. It's yeah, different. I'll go grab the manual actually and just double check that that is exactly what they're for. I mean, as long as they fit, but I'd rather just know. So I've got eight of them, which is perfect. But I'll be right back. Catch you in a second.
Really strategic spot. And it's like, yeah, this.
Helpful grenade. They didn't quite get them all. Oh, that was a decent spread shot. All right, let's go in. Can we? There we go. Hello? Zombie using the toilet? What is going on?
Bongo.
Hey, I've
Bongo.
customized my
that's
spacesuit
sick,
guide.
dude. Wait, can I get that as well? Is that was the thing? I'll get it.
What?
What's it called? Spaceman, John? What is it?
I think it's astronaut or something like that.
Okay, astronaut.
It looks so funny from the side on. It looks like I had my nose cut
Found
off.
it. Yes.
Oh.
How do you take the background out, John?
It just completely cuts your nose.
Because with the NVIDIA broadcast, it takes the background out.
Damn it! So I can't take it out. Custom
No.
trigger. Stuff this. This one.
Yeah, I'm a crewmate, guys. It's
Oh,
fine.
shit.
I'm a crewmate.
That's shit as well. What the fuck is that? I want the astronaut. Tap.
All right. Yep. So, yep. The ones that I was expecting are definitely the motherboard ones. And see, there's 16 of them. They're weird. I've never seen. Yeah, you like the spacesuit, Olivia? I haven't got that Snapchat filter on at the moment, but it is good fun. So yeah, okay. So that's I just like, and again, it's This setup has completely contradicted me saying you only need a Phillips head screwdriver. It's gone with a flathead little screw design. Come on, focus. That's bizarre. Anyway, we've got the right screw. We can move on. Don't need to be caught up too much with that. Okay. We'll grab the motherboard. And we're just going to lower it in. Now this one has already got the it's already got a pre-attached kind of I/O shield, so you don't have to put that in first. But if your motherboard doesn't, definitely make sure you do that first. And then all you need to do now is just lower this down. Into place, making sure the standoffs line up. I've got the corner one lined up. That's good. I can see all the, it's probably going to be hard to see on camera, but we can see all the other things. Yeah, that's what I would be guessing too. But it doesn't particularly say that that in the manual straight up. But that would be my guess. That would be my guess too. They're just yeah, the SSD threads, they're definitely that type of thread, but they're just a weird kind of like little screw design. There are some rubber grommets for some other mounts, in other locations. But they look way too big for those types of screws. It's nothing we're going to be using for this build anyway. All right. Now that we've got the motherboard seated on the right holes, generally I like to put the middle one on the outer edge in first. Not too tightly at first, because then we can rotate it and pivot on that point. Make sure the other holes stay in alignment. So I'm going to put that first screw in. Make sure motherboard nicely pushed in. There we go. So that screw is semi-firm but not in all the way yet. And then I like to do a kind of a diagonal corner. Pity this camera can't get a little bit higher. I'd probably like to show you more, but like if I took it off its stand, I'd probably make you motion sick just trying to move it in here. So you don't need to wrench these down. Just as soon as it has tension, you should be good. Definitely don't want to thread the screws. There's no, as a tech, it's the worst when you're trying to remove a motherboard from a case, replace a motherboard, and you pull off on the screws and the whole bottom standoff comes with it, because it just had so much tension that they actually live together now. So you actually have to use pliers or stuff to get that, and that's just not fun. So now that we've got kind of two diagonal sides lined up, all the other holes are pretty much going to be straight and flush. You won't really have to do any alignment at that point. It's just a matter of getting all the rest of the screws in. So, hands up, or maybe put a number 1 in chat if you've built your own PC before. Be interested to see how many people have had a go. Awesome. Get another screw at the top here. And maybe a 2 in chat if you haven't but want to. And a 3 if you haven't and don't want to. Last screw. -1, built too many. That's fair enough. All right. So we have got the motherboard in. Lift it up a little bit more. Nice and secure. 8 screws holding it to the back plate. All good. It's really looking like a really nice blackout build. It's just everything's pretty much black and silver in there. 1.5. What's that mean, Olivia? You're on the tipping point. You've kind of built your own PC, but and you kind of want to. Awesome. All right, so we'll flip this around. Now, what I'm going to need access to, and I'm going to start threading in actually, is the power supply. So I'm going to just move the case over here. I'll grab the power supply with the cables we pre-selected. Okay. All right. So let's attach the cables, because if we put the power supply inside the case at this stage, it's going to be a little bit hard seeing what the cables are going to connect to. So pretty good. Most power supplies all have these kind of keyed connectors. I don't know if you can kind of see. Some of them are square, some of them are kind of rounded on the corners. And they're in certain patterns that you can't really put the cable in the wrong way. There's also a clip to one side as well. Still just debating. Yeah, fair enough. It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely pretty daunting the first time you do it. But it is so much fun too. There is, and because these cables are keyed, there's only going to be usually one side you can plug them into as well. And it usually has writing on it where it goes. So this one says it's the main 24-pin connector, the ATX connector. And this side looks very different, very proprietary. So this is probably going to go in the power supply. Yeah, the shipping costs would probably easily double the PC build, I reckon, Lydia. I don't know. I would be more than happy to build it for you. And if we can figure out some semi-affordable shipping costs, I'd be happy to do it. But damn, I would hate to think it'd get damaged in shipping as well. But I know there's probably plenty of good reputable kind of places that you can actually get it built in. So we'll try and figure that out as well. I don't know, you might have something like a Micro Center near you. They usually do a pretty good build if you don't feel like you're going to be up to it. So these slots that I'm plugging in the motherboard cable into are marked MB. Pretty safe that's going to be motherboard. It's not going to be Mr. Beast or anything like that. I don't know. Cool. And then we're going to need the 8-pin or the 8 or 4-pin connector, which this definitely is. Yep, CPU 4-pin, 8-pin. This is the power supply side, so we'll chuck that in. Again, only clicks in one way, and you just push in until they click. All good. There we go, proper click. Kind of have to push these cable in pretty firmly. Cool. All right. So we've got the CPU connector. Now we got Now these two are the big ports, definitely for the graphics card connector. So these three, because there's 3 accessory cables, are going to be for the accessory cables. Stop repeating yourself. Stop repeating yourself. So we'll have one for the bottom basement, which is going to service SATA SATA hard drive, HDD, and then we'll have one for the optical drive just for the reach, because I don't think both of these cables will reach. Accessorize, baby, that's it. Sometimes, like, depending on your build, you're gonna be using these SATA connectors for water pumps. You're gonna be using them for extra fan hubs. Yeah, that's really why there's so many of these cables. They're pretty universal when it comes to internal power connections. How's Friday, Bog Chicky? You got your cat Friday cuddled up there while you're watching the stream? Friday wearing sunnies as well. End up with so much junk after a PC build. You have to, I like genuinely chuck it all in one of their boxes and just keep it around until, you know, like the warranty period's over or something. All right. So we got the power supply all hooked up, ready to go. Now I'm just going to show you, if I can, where it's going to go. She saw me on the screen and tried to scratch the screen. That's hilarious. It's like, hey Friday, hey Friday, No, I won't let it damage your screen. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to reposition my camera sometime. So in the bottom here, we have room for the power supply, and the power supply obviously points out the back here. This is where you plug in the power cord and click the power switch, and that's also where the heat from the power supply vents out. There are standoffs on the bottom, and there is a fan hole in the bottom with a dust cover. So the fan faces down in this particular build because the solid top, not going to get too much air through this solid piece of metal. So that's the way we're going to be placing in the power supply. All right. So here you go. Fan down. We have to slide this in on top of the rubber standoffs. We'll bend these cables this way because this is the way we're going to route them up through the side. In some cases, it's okay to put these cables in after the fact, but because we've got a little kind of drive bay at the bottom, it's going to be, interesting. It would be interesting trying to get those cables in at an angle. So make sure all these cables are bending. All good. Slide it in there. Pretty flush. Looking good. And look at all these cables that we'll have to manage. Nice. All right. So I'm going to rotate this around. I only got a small space to work here under this camera, so hopefully you're getting a decent view. We'll move this across a little bit more. Make sure it's lined up. So there's 4 screws with the power supply. I think that came in the accessory box, but we can also use just the ones that came with the case as well. If there's 4 of them in here. Which there is. Perfect. Why open multiple screw accessory things when we can just get away with one and pack the other ones away for later. Cool. So yep, there's a screw hole in each corner of the power supply. Plenty of room in this basement, so just getting it aligned is a little bit difficult. There's the hole. There's one. I have to get a taller tripod or something and really mount it nice and high. So we can probably see a little bit more of an overview. There we go. So chuck in this first screw. Then I usually like to go for the diagonal. That's exactly where the hole is. It is. It's just not quite aligned. So now that we've got the other screw in, I'll just gently push it. They've got a little bit of give, some of these screws, just to get the alignment right. The screw holes, I should say. They're not exactly circle. Don't know if you can see that. They're like kind of like pill shaped. There we go. That screw is definitely in now. I'll tighten up that one a little bit more. It's just a matter of finding the other ones. There you go. That one's in. Again, you don't want to wrench these, you don't want to thread the holes. You just want to gently screw it in until you have tension. This one hole's not lining up that well. No, it's that one. Slightly different angle on that particular hole. There we go. All 4 screws in. Yeah, I know, Tim. How's it going? Thanks for dropping in. Just getting the power supply in this build in. We've got the motherboard in now. And yeah. Just getting the little fiddly power supply screws in. But if we tilt it back and hopefully if the light's at the right angle, you're going to see that we've got the lovely Be Quiet power supply in there now with all the cables running out. So we're going to do a little bit of pre-routing for the cables. This motherboard thankfully has nice big cutouts for where the cables should go. But yeah, how you doing, Tim? It's been a little while since I've had a chat with you. Hope you're doing well. So up the top here, let's tilt the case back. Up a little bit. Oh, cheers. Yeah, look, having a little bit of fun. This is a family friend's PC I'm building. Just be a nice, sleek, slimline kind of office build. But yeah, it's good fun building PCs. I haven't done it in a little while. So we've actually got some, you can see where my hand is underneath, we've got some pass-throughs that I'm actually going to route the CPU power through to the top. Which is pretty easily, thankfully, with these holes. So we can pull that cable through. So yeah, they purchased the parts and had them delivered to my place. And now I'm putting it together to save them on the building costs. So yeah, they got the parts, some parts over time at some decent prices. No graphics card for this build just because it's an office build, but they may plan to get a graphics card later. So we've kind of gone with a power supply that will accommodate that in the future, and also a motherboard that will accommodate that as well. They're just going to be using the onboard graphics from the CPU to get away with just doing work for the time being. Yeah, that's right. Most places will generally charge $200 to $250 to do it. And I just love building PCs, so I'm quite happy to do it for them. Gets my eye in on the new stuff as well. I mean, not a lot has changed. As people that were here from the start can attest, like there's a couple of little things that are a little bit different than, like there's some screw types that are like really weird. I haven't seen before. I mean, it makes sense, but like if you've never run into that type of screw before, you're like, what's that? And then there was also another weird type of screw for the M.2 drive. It was like a double stacker screw. And it literally needed a tool that I'm not used to using, which I've got, thankfully, but I'm like, okay, that's different. But yeah, nothing reading the manual can't fix. Yeah, fair enough. That's it. If you're not comfortable doing it, it's just so much easier to get somebody to do it for you. And then generally, like if most places will give like kind of a warranty as well. They're not too fussed on having anything but the manufacturer warranty, so that's all good. And obviously, I'll be around to help them if anything goes wrong as well. I'm not going to leave them in the lurch, so it's all good. All right. So we've got that cable passed through. Now, which Where have we got? All right, so we've got a nice big grommet, rubber grommet here that we can pass through the 24 pin connector. Now, I don't know if you can see that. This camera angle. Here we go. So I've just passed through this cable. Nice big rubber grommet that hides the cables from behind. And that's going to plug into the 24 pin connector on the motherboard. Yes, yeah, I've downloaded it, Tim. So, Lydia, you're now a birdie, apparently. I assume that's who told you. Yeah, I've definitely got the Outriders demo downloaded. So, yeah, next time you're available, let me know. Cheeky bird. All right, and we'll have one power cord. Probably, where's the best way going to do this? We're going to need one power up to the optical drive. Dark Turtle, how's it going? Chopper. What's Chopper? Did I miss something? Yeah, I think that pass through up near the top of the motherboard is probably going to be the best for the optical drive. Chirpy chop. All right. When are we playing? Yeah, well, I mean, depending on how tired I am after this, would you be up for a game afterwards? I don't know. Or maybe tomorrow night. Tomorrow night could be good too. Chopper. Gatterer. You're referencing Age of Empires? So what's going on? Rogan? Steve, how's it going? You'll just throw out Age of Empires quotes my way. Steve, tell us how's the little Magnus doing? How's your little puppy doing, man? Pull that through. He's a fluffy boy. Very cool. If anybody hasn't seen yet, Steve has posted up a couple of photos on his Discord. So definitely check out the little fluffy nugget. He's a cutie. All right. So we got that cable. So yeah, like I was saying before, believe it or not, this client still wants an optical drive in this day and age, just as a backup in case. That's it's fantastic. This case still support it. Just trying to figure out how are we going to get this cover off. Need more Moonwells. Which one's that from, Tim? Moonwells. I definitely know it's like I've like need more pylons or from StarCraft. And start the game already from Age of Empires. There's definitely a line that's not going to go away. Warcraft 3, yeah, okay. I didn't play Warcraft 3 that much. I mostly played the Dota mod, if anything. Then became a big fan of Dota 2 when that actually, Valve released that. Mug! I need a mug! Yes. All the game lines, I love it. Summon more cigarettes. Which one was that from? I'm gonna say, is that... Oh yeah, I don't even know what that... Is that... It's gonna be Warcraft again? You guys are just making me do all the sounds now. Yo yo yo. Warcraft 3 too. Yeah, well there you go. Alright. Just looking for them. Got so much crap around here. computer slips of paper. Let's see how we get this optical drive bay cover out. Construct additional pylons. I was definitely a Protoss player. Protoss was good fun. With all their high-tech gadgetry. Oh yeah, okay. This front panel is just push fit. I can just pull it off with a little bit of pressure. Please don't go. The drones need you. They look up to you. That was I do know this. Alpha Centauri? Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri? That was a good one. What are you buying? What are you selling, mate? Alright. I hate these pressure fit things. Like, I'd rather just take out some screws. But here we go. Apparently you just pull the front off and you're good to go. So, let's give that a go. Nailed it. So, apparently the front just comes off. There we go. Just snaps off. And now we can remove the little optical drive cover. Just pop it out. There we go. Ugh. Got it out. Now we can chuck this back in. Pop. 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 Cool. I know, right? Oh, and hang on, wait. This is like I found this cheat code. Hang on, in PC Building Simulator. Just 1 second. Yeah, here it is. Here's the cheat code. They put a hot tub. They put a hot tub in PC Building Simulator. It's really weird. I don't know when you'd ever build a hot tub. Build a PC in a hot tub, but I don't know. If you want to do it, you can, I guess. So there's that. Yeah. Yes, there's plenty of water cooling. Darth Maple, hello. How's it going? Did you just catch the hot tub? I said I would have it ready for next time. Hot water cooling? Yeah, it doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite work. But anyway, now did you guys like that? It's took me a little bit to set up and overlay and stuff like that, but hey, hot tub anytime, every time. Now I can Beat Saber in a hot tub as well. Don't clip that out of context. Cool. All right. Let's get the hard drive into the sled. Hot tub Beat Saber is new meta. That's it. Gotta keep up with all the hot tub stuff. Just waiting for that to become its own category, really. Get this hard drive out. That's the closest to a real hot tub stream I'm ever going to get, Lydia. I reckon. But no, it was good fun making that overlay. Having to figure out how to actually get it look semi-decent. And do you like the ambient sound that I put in there too? Like the little... hopefully you guys hear the water running. Yeah. So, to put this hard drive in, I'm just attaching the sleds. They just kind of clip into place with the little pins. They literally just slot into the holes. I'll show you the holes on the other side. So there you go. We'll get the other one. Now, because we want the ports facing out towards us on this side of the case, yeah, I'm just putting the kind of the clips at the back. So you'll be able to see that we've got the two detaching clips that you can kind of squeeze to release the drive. They click into place, and the ports are going to be on this side, so we can easily just reach them from the basement and plug straight in. Water cooling, take it to the next level, Rusco. That's it. One of the first of my friends to do one. Now I can tell everyone that you beat them to it. That's funny. Water cooler your whole PC. That's plenty of pumps in that thing to keep the water going round and round. Now I'm just going to slide this hard drive into the tray. And looks like it's clicked into place. Pity I don't have a microphone close so you can get that PC ASMR. But yeah, that hard drive is nice and in place now. Rusco, you're next level, mate. That's for sure. Everyone here is next level. I appreciate you all being here. All right. So now we can plug the SATA cable in, SATA power. And don't let me forget that the SATA data cable either this time. So we'll plug that SATA power into the hard drive. So that hard drive has now got power. We'll be able to cable route the rest of this cable length. This is honestly like kind of a little bit of the boring and the fiddly part. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep doing it the way I'll do it, and keep chatting as well. SATA data, SATA data. I'm pretty like if a power supply bottom has got a basement, I'm usually pretty happy when it does, because then I can just push cables, pull the cables to the backside, push them, and lay them flat, and then probably cable tie them into a bunch for later use. So that's always handy. All right, now that we've got the front optical drive bay open and ready, we can slot this in. I might, not that it's super exciting, but I'll flip the computer around for you. So these just have screws either side, and it has SATA connections at the back. Like I said, it's probably going to be a pretty edge case for you to run into this these days. Peel still on it, and we just slide it in, and it will slide into place. And then you can just with this particular case, there is a pre-locking mechanism, so it just kind of clips on. You'll see up the top. This locking mechanism has just clicked into place. You can pull that back and it will allow you to remove it, but that looks good. Where's the zip drive? Oh, haven't seen a zip drive in years. Did you ever have one, Dark Eternal? Like, I don't think I ever actually owned a zip drive. I just saw them like at school or whatever in the tech lab. There was never like, yeah, they were either way too expensive to bother, and then USB drives came in, so there was no point to them after that. An external zip drive, mate. Spend some zip money. Mate, zip money. Not sponsored, but zip money has been awesome to make some PC purchases over the last year. Allows you to pay it off in bit by bits and get it now. Zip your drive, mate. Definitely don't run your drive compressed. Not ideal. Slows the performance down heaps. All right, I'm just going to start plugging some of these cables in because it won't work without them. Zip disk redesign course, yeah, I can imagine. Some of those early Illustrator files or really large bitmaps would not fit on a normal floppy drive. Zip it, mate. Yeah, we're gonna lie the PC down just to get this cable. So this is the 8-pin connector that I'm plugging into the top. Again, this is a keyed connector, so you can't plug it in the wrong way. So pretty much safe to just get it zipped in. Anything I hate about these kind of connectors that kind of split apart is when you have to mash them together, get into the one connector, they just kind of slip apart as you're putting them in. So it's a little bit fiddly, but we'll get it eventually. If it was wider apart, I could put them in one by one as well, but they're just, it's just in that position. It's going to be a little bit of a trouble. Get in there. Don't you want to be in your home? There we go. Cool. 8-pin CPU connector in place. I'll now plug in the 20 pin, so 24 pin ATX connector for the motherboard. Again, this splits into 20 and a 4 pin, and some of them just don't want to click together that well. Be a little bit fiddly as well. I really like some of them that actually have like proper clips. They'll actually click together properly. So yeah, be quiet, power supplies, up your game. Other than that little fiddly nature, they're not too bad though. Especially if the cable's like been resting, like bent in the box in a certain way. Like it's definitely hard to just like fight against the tension of the bent cables. There we go. PC lens flare. Right, oh. All right, that cable is definitely in there now too. Awesome. No, Tim, I don't really know that much about Outriders yet, so maybe you could tell me about some of the classes that are available. It's and what do you prefer to play at the moment? And can multiple people play as the same class? But I'm definitely keen, to try all sorts of games. So yeah, if you guys got a favorite game that you like playing, let me know because I'll definitely be happy to join in. Yeah, I've definitely seen you guys with Outriders on Steam a fair bit. So yeah, I was saying to Sober the other day that you guys must be definitely must be enjoying it. Like I said, if you can't see what I'm doing, I am simply just cable managing. It's not really that interesting. I'm just finding spaces for the cables to lay neatly. Devastator, tank, earth, Devastator the tank. All earth and armor skills, nice. Technomancer, gadgets, frost poison, tends to be use the sniper. Ooh, that's already sounding like my class, Tim. I do like being a techie. Pyro, enough said, yes. That's cool. I'm not surprised there's a Pyro class. And Trickster, teleport, slow time, speed and shotguns. Ooh. That sounds pretty good too. So what have you landed on? What do you tend to play? Tim can tell me plenty about the game. Yeah. That's it. You would have a few hours as well, Lydia. All right. I'm just going to be connecting the front USB 3 and the USB to the SD card reader as well. One annoying thing about USB headers, they are not keyed. They generally have a pin missing in one corner. If you're lucky, which this one does seem like it has, which is good. But the USB 3 headers, they are keyed, so you can just pop them in. And there's one kind of lug on one side. Your main is Trickster and alt is Techno. Oh, so you can level them up as well, Tim. Okay. Yeah, as a less than sober, fair enough. But it does sound like a good co-op game to play. Lydia, you landed on Devastator as your favorite? Nice. For playing with lag. Nice. Well, with the Devastator being a tank, it sounds like you got plenty of health, so you can soak up some damage while the lag hits, I guess. That would be handy. So is there no kind of servers that suit both American and Australian play together? Or are they either one team gets lag or something like that? Okay. So we got the front USB 3 installed. Down the bottom, My head gets out of the way. We've got the front USB connected to the header on the motherboard. We've got the 24 pin connector plugged in. We've also got the 8-pin power connector for the CPU plugged in. So far, we haven't put the fans in. We'll need to find a fan header or two. And we've also got the adapter in the back. I'll just undo this cable. That's a crisp looking device. It's looking pretty nice. Looking very blacked out. The 11th gen stuff is pretty good. The top tier of the 11th gen CPUs, I wouldn't recommend at this stage. It's hard to recommend, but anything like in the mid tier or the Core i7 range is not too bad. Like, it's just because the i9 range, they kind of nerfed it this time. It's too power hungry. It's got less cores than the previous generation, which is odd. And it's just too expensive at the moment to really recommend. So yeah, a little bit tough. Your PC next, please. Yeah, no worries, man. Like I said, when you're ready to buy, let me know, and we'll definitely do a build. Awesome. The host has it the best. Yep. So it's kind of, is it? So there might be not. Oh, the host would be the host's region, obviously, I think, or it might be still peer-to-peer, something like that. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really keen to try the demo. So yeah, we'll definitely line up a time and we'll have a game. I'm gonna just take a break for a second. I'm gonna grab a drink. Then we'll be back in a minute. See you all soon.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh, double hit. Yep.
Alright, turning
Quick
hard.
reload. Turning hard. Go.
Turning hard, turning hard, turning hard, turning hard.
They're hitting us pretty badly. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna hit them. Just keep turning hard because I'm gonna strafe them with the other side.
Turning hard. Turning hard now. Straightening up. Straightening up. Yes, good job, man. Straightening up.
Echo.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can hear
Is
myself
it
too.
me you're looking for? Hello, darkness.
Is that you, John?
Yeah. Hello.
Like that.
John. It's always John. It's always John. It's always John.
It is always John.
He's asking if you need
Thank
a
you.
shorty.
Yeah, I do, yeah. I got nothing.
What the hell?
Who's the other radio?
Headshot.
It's copy. It's over here. Copy.
Oh no. New flashbang. Headshot though. I can't see a thing. Alright, let's go. Let's go.
What is it? He's in somewhere. He's buried.
I'm burrowed. No, I didn't. But that's good. I think I did. Oh, behind.
Yes, DJ does stand for something.
You right, Don?
Yeah.
Oh. Tim and John sticking together like glue here. I might as well stick together too. Alright, that's how it goes. Oh. Where did John go? Why did John split? John split for a reason? Where? What? Oh my god. Oh my god. This is a slick as ninja kill right here.
Dunks, I left you with Tim. What happened? What is going on?
We can't walk. I can't swim.
Full speed.
I can swim.
So,
Every time I run into a wall, I'm just gonna say ow. Ow.
I'm trying to imagine this IRL. Like, I kind of do when we usually play. Like, we're usually playing because y'all make it like sound like IRL. Like,
It's fucking her.
You guys go to my stream. It's literally not me.
That's illegal.
it's not
Yeah,
me.
can't do
Yeah,
that.
that's illegal.
I'm telling you.
They're dead people.
Well, like,
Hey,
they just come.
Bean, can I?
I'm dead.
Told you, fucking told you guys.
Yo,
God damn.
ooh.
I love this gun.
Hello there.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Junkrat primed and ready.
Because I know she can see me through the walls. I'm just gonna dance. Yeah, see?
Yeah, no He's calling 911 or something, is he? Or
He's calling-
whatever the equivalent in England is.
I'm trapped.
Triple one, is it? Get in the store, lock him out. Good on
Good on TV. Look at this. Okay, I am back. Had my drink away from the PC. Don't want to spill it on it while building. That'd be a disaster. So yeah, generally when sober you play, you don't get any lag, but you've had some dodgy nights. Yeah, fair enough. Can be unpredictable like that. All right, so we got. I need to plug in this back fan. Plug it into one of the. They are PWM fans, which means they can adjust their speed based on temperature. So what I'll probably do is I won't run it through that little splitter, because we do have a couple of headers around here. I'll simply plug that into the one in the back. Yes, there is one near the back. That looks good. Looks like a good choice. Yeah, so there's literally two different types of fans. If Lenore, how's it going? Yeah, the realism to PC Simulator has really gone up a notch, that's for sure. How you doing, man? Hope you're having a good night. I was just explaining that I'm hooking up. We've got most of the components in now. We've got the motherboard, we've got the RAM, we've got the SSD. Just hooking up the fans now. There's little fan headers on most motherboards. Now, there's usually two different types of fans. There's 3-pin and 4-pin fans. 4-pin fans are generally the ones that are going to adjust their speed automatically. So for quiet PCs, that's probably the way to go. Sorry, excuse me. And if with 3-pin fans, they're usually cheaper, but they kind of run at 100% speed all the time unless your motherboard can do voltage control. So we're just going to find a header for this one. I think there's one down on this side. They're not very long cables, so sometimes it's a little bit trickily reaching. So I'm glad there's one header up this side. in little tricky nooks though sometimes. I think the most time I've taken like getting cables in tonight, I reckon. Just because some of these cables around this, especially this, I don't know if you guys can see, this massive heatsink on this thing is generally slightly lower on most boards, so you can get your fingers down into the little areas a little bit easier. But at the moment, I'm just fighting with my fingers and trying to get into that little spot. So that is the ideal spot if we can get it. Now, there's two little lugs on one side of this cable. It's kind of hard to see. But so it'll only allow you to put in the fan one way. I'm determined to get it in there. We got it. It's all right, team. We got it. What a nightmare. That little gap. That little gap. I am, yeah. I mean, that happens from time to time, man. Sometimes I just don't feel like being in this plane of existence and go on. It'll probably be because I'm just not in alignment. Not really much I can do. The camera, NVIDIA Broadcast, the software that cuts me out, basically likes you being nice and close to the camera to get the perfect cutouts. As you back away a little bit, you start to phase out a little bit. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. Awesome. Yeah, this cable, but it's going to be nice and neat. Looks good. Not too bad. Just kidding. Well, no, it certainly has happened before, especially in Beat Saber. If anybody would watch my last VOD, sometimes my head just phases out of existence and my shoulders playing Beat Saber. It was a bit odd. So we got that fan installed finally. And we'll pass through the cable for the other one. I don't think we'll need the splitter that's included, which is nice. Headless Beat Saber? Yeah. Blindfolded Beat Saber would also be impossible, I reckon. I was trying to think of some redeems that I could do for that though. Like I already take my glasses off to be in the HTC Vive, so taking glasses off isn't really a great redeem. Adding them on, it's not gonna hinder me in any way, so it's probably not a great redeem. Doing leg saver, like I think was suggested, could be interesting. I have to find a way of like maybe getting some Velcro straps or something though, because like trying to gaffer tape myself onto that as a challenge, that'd be interesting. Take your shirt off, redeem. No. Beat Saber with somebody else's glasses? Hey, that could, yeah, maybe. That could be something. I have to get somebody else's glasses though. That'd be funny. All right. This is one of the last fiddly cables, I think. We've got another fan. Pass that through. No beard, Beat Saber. Actually have to shave it. That could be quite messy. The first time around anyway. Just get that Snapchat filter happening again. Alright, HD audio. I'll figure out when it is in a second. That's going to be on the backside of the motherboard usually. Alright. So there's another fan header up the front. Thankfully in a more forgiving position. So we should be able to slip that on pretty much straight away. Done. Just like that. Just like it should be. HD audio. Yeah, it's right near the back. So I'll pass it through one of these little grommets here. So I can plug it in pretty much directly without going across the motherboard. This is, HD audio is kind of keyed with a missing pin, and this connector, probably not going to be able to see, but it has one pinhole filled with plastic, so you can't actually yeah, put it around the wrong way. So that's that connector done. Now I think all that we pretty much need to connect is the SATA cable and two SATA cables actually, and the front panel connectors. So I'm just going to locate them and thread them through as well. Sitting on some cables. And the optical drive power. So we're almost on the home run stretch. Now, where are the front panel headers? They're down the bottom. So I'll pass them through this other second grommet here. Give myself plenty of length to work with, and I can always pull it back. I had heaps of fun with the Beat Saber stream the other day. It was really good. And I thought it was super funny how it turned into Scare Saber, basically. Like, the alerts were hilarious. Just coming out of nowhere, like the screams mid-Saber song. That was great. All right. They're not directly labeled on the motherboard, so I am going to consult the manual for the motherboard just to get the pinout diagram. All the motherboard manuals will have this pinout diagram for the front panel connectors. Sometimes the instructions are directly printed to the PCB, but it doesn't look to be that way at the moment. Here we go. Front panel connectors. All right. Power LED. Now, anything that's labeled a switch, like the power switch and reset switch, doesn't really matter which way the pins go around. It's just bridging connection between the two pins. So there won't be any plus and minus on those cables. But with the power LED and the hard drive LED, because their LEDs are light emitting diode, power can only pass through the correct way. So you need to do the proper plus and minus. So we've got the hard drive LED that's going to go into those pins, with the plus being on the furthest left side from me. Perfect. I wish I could show you this. Like, it's a pretty fiddly spot, but yeah, I'm just having to plug the pins into a little pin grid. Oop, like this. It's one of the most fiddly bits about building a PC. I really wish they could standardize this as a plug, just one thing. You'd think, like, motherboards have been this way forever. They could just, pretty much figure it out by now, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is. All right. Power switch. Land 2001, how's it going? PC spec. It is an i5 11400, 6-core 12-thread CPU that we've put in this system. It's an Aurorus B560M Pro motherboard. We've put it in. We've got 16 gigs of HyperX RAM. We're not going with a graphics card at the moment because honestly, who can afford them? We're just building it as an office kind of workstation, kind of a budget workstation at the moment, and it's going pretty good. Yeah, just doing the really fiddly bit at the moment. We're getting the front panel connectors installed. This is one of the last cables, fiddly cables anyway, that I have to do. So sorry if I look really concentrated. I'm just getting those in at the moment. Yes, that's right. The i5 11400. Yeah, basically we can use the iGPU until the system actually can get a graphics card. So that's it. It's going to be functional. We can still use DisplayPort, HDMI. Yeah, should be good. This isn't my PC. It's a friend of the family's PC that I'm building for them, and I'm having fun. It's been a little while since I've built a PC, a couple of years, I think, and yeah, generally everything's the same. Only thing that we've run into that was a little bit different was the M.2 slot having like a double stacked screw. It was really, really odd, but we figured it out in the end. And now just, yeah, like I said, lining up these front panel connectors. Alain, do you build your own PC? Yeah, or have you attempted building your own PCs? Okay, so there's the reset switch. Yeah, that's it. Now, I think the 11400 CPU is is kind of just really a nice mid-tier. It's a mid-tier kind of PC CPU at the moment. You can get away for it with budget gaming. You can and since it's got 6 cores, it's a definite step up from all the kind of 4 core SKUs in the AMD APU lineup at the moment. So save it, yeah. Just I think it's a good CPU just to get around that limitation at the moment. Yeah, we got a 650 watt Be Quiet power supply. Grab the box. Look, honestly, they're not going to grab something like a 3090 or 3080. This is going to be a pretty streamlined build for the most part. They may do some graphics, may grab a graphics card in the future. They may never not as well. So I've definitely gone, yeah, with it's a pretty decent power supply. You know, it's going to do them well. It's going to have upgradability for the future, and it's going to run pretty efficiently. Right in the mid range. They're not going to use the power supply more than 50% in their current setup. Yeah, that's it. 3070 it would suit. That would be fine. But like I said, they may never, because it's mostly for work use. They may never get a graphics card, but they just wanted the maybe in there, especially for just resellability in the future as well. Cool. So that's 2 of the front panel connectors in and ready to go, I think. I was just saying before, like, I can't believe that case manufacturers haven't really standardized this. This is one of the things that really kind of bugs me about PC building, just these little cables. Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think a 6-core CPU is definitely where it's at for gaming now. I wouldn't rely on like you could get away with it with a 4-core CPU, but like when 6 cores and up are on the market, you may as well step in with a 6-core, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. You've got room to grow. All right. Give me a second, and I will just finish up with these front panel connectors. This is doing my head in. All right, got that one in. Landau, what are you running at the moment? Do you have plans for an upgrade, or are you happy with your current build? Always interested to hear what systems people are running. Power LED, here we go. Make sure with the power LEDs, you got the plus and minus around the right way. Otherwise, they're not going to shine. All right. Last one. Hard drive LEDs in. Alright. So you got the fiddly bit done. Awesome. Alright, got some SATA cables in here. So we've still got an optical drive because they wanted a backup optical drive, just in case they need to grab any software from their old PC. And I've got on top of an NVMe SSD that's attached to the motherboard. We've got 2 gig Seagate Barracuda, just for some extra storage. We're going to plug in that 90-degree SATA cable into the top optical drive, pass through the cable around the back, decent length, and we're going to pass it through down to the bottom grommet so we can get that eventually hooked up to the SATA ports in the front. We've got a hard drive in the bottom basement. So again, I'm just going to hook up the data cable to that. And then also pass it through the bottom front grommet. Probably get some of this cable tucked away, tied away in the back in a minute. But yeah, we'll get some decent length through. My current rig is Intel 8th generation Core i7 8700K. I've got a 2070 Super. Currently only running 16 gigs of RAM. That's probably my next upgrade point. Get a bit more RAM. And yeah, I'm running quite a few SSDs. Got my ultra wide gaming setup. I think if you scroll down into the description, I've got a whole list of my specs down there. And if you click the title of the spec sheet, it will also take you to a video of my latest kind of desk setup. Oh, the i7, yeah, it's still fantastic. It's I've obviously had it for a few years, and yeah, not really having a worry with it. So I love my 8700K. Just plugging in the SATA cables. We're getting the SATA cables in this time, everyone. I know I missed that from the PC repair. Easy to do. Cool. SATA's plugged in. I think we've got one cable to go, and then we can just cable manage the rest. Just need to plug in the SATA power into the top optical drive, and we're good to go. Yeah, I'm surprised. My 2070 Super, when I bought it in Australian dollars, it was like $750. It wasn't, it wasn't the cheapest GPU out there, but it was also, like something that I wanted to, do me for a little while. It was obviously when the 3rd generation wasn't even out yet. And now you go to buy a 2070 Super, and they're more like $1,300 Australian. It's insane, the markup an old GPU has, just because of this current GPU crisis. It's I mean, if I was looking to sell my GPU, I'd be happy, but I'm definitely not parting with it. It's I couldn't get anything for $700 that's going to be worth it. Okay, so SATA power is going in. We are looking pretty good. All right. I'm going to start doing some cable tying with inputted cable ties. Not too many needed with this build, luckily. Don't have any GPU cables that we need to route at the moment either, so that makes things simpler. But this case doesn't even have a side panel either. I mean, I'm definitely going to do some cable management, but I'm not going to adjust heaps for beauty. It's just going to be enough to get it out of the way of the fan float and make it look a little bit neater than cables just loosely mucking around. I think this is going to be a pretty silent rig once it's gone. Boot it up. 2 pretty quiet fans. Lots of sound padding on the panels. Be surprised if I can't even hear it when it turns on the first time. I'm just going to have to count on the power LEDs and the HDMI signal booting over. Looking pretty good. Very slicked out build. Very, very nice. Plenty of good airflow. We've got the exhaust fan at the back, got an intake fan at the front. It's only a 65 watt processor, I think, so it's not extremely power hungry. It's the SOC CPU heatsink should do, and I can always upgrade that for them later. Pretty good, pretty happy with it. I'll just finish cable tying some stuff at the back. Then we might be right back and I'll get some cables set up so we can do a test boot. Yeah, look at this. I mean, most of these cables are the right length anyway. They're all pretty much already zip lined into the right place. There's only one basically loose cable that I kind of have to get out of the way, which is nice. This case actually has some nice tie down points, which I like. I've liked working in some other cases that actually have Velcro already pre-built into the case, which is pretty handy. But I'll take some good position tie down points all the same. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna grab some power cables, and we'll give it a test boot. Fingers crossed we get it first time. That'll be good. See you soon. That was a little bit of health. Thank you. Ooh.
Alex, you still there?
Splat. I'm glad I quick saved.
Ding 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 bam dum dum bum bam 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 bum 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 Ding 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 bim bum 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 ding bum dum bum 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 bum.
Oh, I think that's the last.
Just the new. Who's through here?
What the fuck?
What the fuck was that, Cobalt?
I didn't shoot. I didn't shoot.
We're gonna put another brood in here. The confusion plays.
He's locked this door.
Bodies in comms. I just walked in as he walked out and then he locked the door behind me.
He's reversing the truth.
I can't do this.
I literally got yellow kicked off just before, and we didn't lose because we were
If
on
I
5.
skip the vote and you kill anyone, then we lose. I'm just... fuck. Okay, both of you say spaghetti really slow.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, Ruthie, you sound sus.
I'm not gonna comment on that decision making. I'm not.
Oh my god.
I mean, it worked, but wow.
Spaghetti one.
What the fuck is it?
Spaghetti. Yeah, it's Rita, yeah.
My body was dead for so long. I was on cams.
Wait, why am I still in the lobby?
No, that was just
the sound effect.
Alright, we all thought that for a second.
John, you sneaky bastard. Just wait until he starts running around with the troll sound going.
You probably don't believe me, but I am okay this time. There are no other buttons for me to press.
Nice.
I will not do a murder, I promise.
Alright, well, let's go this way.
Do you believe me? I feel like you don't believe me.
Well, you're going the wrong way for one,
Where are
so...
we going?
This way.
Well, I don't know the map, alright, buddy?
No, I don't know the map either, I just know the line pointing us this way. Yeah, I do waffle a bit.
Well...
Okay, we are back. I've got the monitor plugged in. Hopefully we can get the angle where we can see a little bit of the PC and the monitor. We are all plugged in, so let's give it a test boot and see how we go. Hello Penny, my dog just came in. Alright, turned it on, pressing the power button. We have fan spin. You can see the BIOS lights going. Usually the first boot, a cold boot, is takes a little while for the BIOS to recognize a new CPU. We can see the USBs kicked in, and hey, we have the Aurora logo. Hoorah! And we're into the BIOS. Fantastic. That's what you like to see. A good time first boot. Awesome. So now we know that it is booted up, and we can see that the temperature is a nice cool 34 degrees. Pretty stock standard with the Intel BIOSes to put a little bit of load on the BIOS. I would expect it to be above ambient temperature with that small heatsink. So at 36 idle, pretty good, pretty good. System temperature is 26. Awesome. So we can see that we've got the hard drive. We've got the. I'm looking through just the side over here, guys. We've got the hard drive. We've got this CD-ROM drive, and we've got the M.2 drive listed as well. So perfect. Everything is showing up. We have got. I might have to turn the system just a little bit. We've got both sticks of RAM currently showing. XMP is currently disabled. We will enable that because we want the full speed from our RAM. Very important to get the top performance out of the RAM to enable the XMP profile. And yeah, looking good. CPU fan running at a good temperature. System fans both spinning and reporting RPM, revolutions per minute. Perfect. And headphones off, like ear off. I can barely hear this piss. I can just hear it, and I reckon that's just because the the case is still open at the moment. So before we install Windows, I'll definitely let's seal up. Let's seal up the case. So we'll turn the PC off. Awesome. Really happy about that. It's always good to get a first-time boot. Not surprised, but also it's just nice to know that everything's gone smoothly. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the nailed it. All right, let's move this stuff off to the side. Actually, I didn't save that XMP profile, so we'll have to enable that again when we boot it up. Boot it up in the hot tub. 1 second, let's see if it works in the hot tub. Just gotta water cool it. Here we go. Gotta submerge the CPU, guys. Just, get it nice in the tub. And the ambient temperature of the water should help it run perfectly. Very good. All right, I'm gonna get the side panels. They're just down here. B-side. Wonder what the error code for that one is, Steve. I think it's probably the ID10T error. If you're confused of what that says, spell it out in chat. You'll probably figure it out. The ID10T. There you go. Just gonna squish them cables down a little bit. That 24-pin connector cable is always just the one that, especially because there's actually, it may look like weird that I'm pushing this down, but there's actually padding on this backside panel as well. No, I said anybody that puts, I didn't call you it, Steve. No. I said, what type of B-sod error would it be if you put a PC in water? Padded panels, yeah. Good for sound dampening, not so good for putting the computer back together. I might have to just rearrange some of these cables. They are in a good spot cable management wise, but against the padding, not so much. I think it's mainly this 24 pin. I can get that a little bit flatter. That's a term, right? Flatter. Push this in a bit more. That's better. Actually, I'll cable tie that up. I don't want that resting against the back of the motherboard. Yeah, the padded panels definitely help for the sound dampening, which is fantastic. Not something they generally offer on tempered glass PCs, because the tempered glass is, well, you can't really have padding on tempered glass, can you? So, and the little bit you could put it around the edge probably is not going to sound dampened that much, so not too much point to it. All right, that's better. Yeah, I don't know, like, it's a fairly thick pad on it, but I don't know how much sound that's going to dampen, but whatever. It comes with it, so bonus. I think. Oh yeah, no, that slides on like that, and then it slides in. Awesome. That's good to know. All cases have slightly different ways of like sliding in. So that's got it though, almost. This awkward multi-camera angle. I placed the camera so well, guys. Gotta rotate the PC around a bit and have a go. This angle. Yeah, I think that's got it. I will say again, I love cases with captive thumb screws. Makes it very handy. You're not going to lose the panel screws. They kind of just sit in there. Very nice. Awesome. That is the back panel done. Let's do the front panel now. It's interesting, it's like a little half panel, because the basement is actually part of the case. Guess that saves in doubling up material. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and we're not fighting against any cables on this side, so that just slided in. Awesome. Oh, let's see if we can get a better angle. That's it. That's the computer done, everyone. Got the optical drive in, which has a nice big kind of if I sit down, it's got a nice big removable kind of mesh panel in the front, so all your dust will collect here. You can unclip that with the clip at the top, and then you can vacuum that, so no dust is really getting into your case. It's got nice big vents down the side, which the fan is going to take in, so this door isn't really obstructing the air that much, which is nice. We've got blackout panels on every side, and the back has a nice exhaust, and we've got all the plugs and stuff there. Super sleek little system. So I think the friends of the family that have ordered this will be really happy with it. I'll install Windows probably tomorrow. Probably won't do it tonight. But yeah, looking good. Really happy with it, and I'm so surprised that I found a case that has an optical drive and an SD card reader, both their requirements, in one kind of nice little streamlined office PC. So nice. Well, I hope that was interesting. I hope that wasn't. I hope the camera angle was alright too. Like, I don't know how else I can mount it other than hanging it from the roof or something next time. But yeah, I had fun. So I hope everyone had fun too. What do you reckon, Lydia? Do you reckon you're gonna attempt it, or has this scared you off? Where are we? Core i5. So I'll put together all these little boxes and stuff for them. You should actually I should pan around a little. I'll see if I can pan around a little. Sorry if this is making you seasick, but look at all the little bits and pieces that I have to clean up now from the from the build. All the little manuals and all the little slips and stuff. I'm going to tidy them all up. Yeah, get them in a motherboard box ready for them to go. Not scared, but don't know. That's fair enough. Happy to link you to some videos that I would recommend as well. And yeah, obviously happy to answer any questions you might have in the future as well. But I'm gonna grab a quick drink, choose somebody to raid, and so we will do that when I'm back. Yeah, we'll catch you everyone in a minute.
Back off.
Yeah, playtime. Don't peek.
Not peeking.
Nice, got it.
Yeah, what a
Well played. Well played. Oh my gosh. I swear that's rigged. It's like RNG.
Wait, you go first, John. Who was that? Blue boy?
That was Blue Boy. Oh, I hit this. Nice. Look at it go. Nice shot, Dogs.
Woo! There we go!
That was impressive.
Viking burial!
Hey. Just because I took his blue color. Oh, she's taking me for a long con. Oh, amazing.
Take my beard off as well. I like pizza party.
It's pretty good, John. It's pretty good.
I'm a pizza.
Okay, I'm back, and now I can relax in my hot tub. And now that I've successfully built a PC. No worries, Lydia. And yeah, I've got some fun to clean up. Definitely, I've got a few things to sort out, but that's right. The hard part's all done, and I'm pretty all good about sorting. I think we're gonna raid Chaotic Koala. He's playing some Breath of the Wild at the moment. He's another Aussie streamer that I've jumped into a couple of streams. I think he's given me a raid in the past, so I'd like to return the favor. If you could copy a message, one if you're subbed, one if you're not, there's the messages there. It's fantastic, been fantastic having you all along for the ride. Thanks again for dropping in, and we'll catch you next time sometime. I'll definitely like to do some community games again soon. No worries, tough people. I'm glad I got the hot tub layout working. I reckon it looks pretty good. It's not too bad anyway. Cheers for dropping in. And yeah, we'll catch everyone again soon. See everyone. Say hello to Chaotic for me. Bye.
John, how's it going? Thank you for the raid. Oop, hang on, hold that thought. I'll just finish killing this dude. There we go. Excuse me. Hey, how's it going? Is it fun doing what I'm doing? Yeah, I think so. Oh, you were just chatting. What were you chatting about? Or were you doing something else and then you finished on just chatting? Question mark. Anyway, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders from John's stream. My name is Chaotic. Ooh, almost walked into that. My name is Chaotic Koala. You can call me Koala for short or Chaotic. Doesn't matter. I'm a variety streamer from Australia. The variety, believe it or not, means that I play whatever I feel like. If you don't like that,
tough.
Doing, you know, just you're building a PC on stream. Nice. How did that go? A stretch? That might be a good idea, actually. I suppose you didn't want to. Are you saving the playing of said PC till another stream? Is that what's happening? You gonna get a bed? No worries, man. Have a good sleep. We'll see you next time. It booted first go. Hey, so that sounds pretty fucking good to me. Let me get up and do this stretch, because I have been sitting down for 3 hours.